Hey everyone, Token Dave over here, the dorky token black guy that's just trying to get by. And welcome to another edition of AA, Adaptation Application. Here, I share my thoughts on how well an original or already established story has been adapted into a new or an updated medium. And this adaptation application actually continues the Street Fighter flashbacks because in celebration of 30 years of Street Fighter, I'm taking it upon myself to share my memories of playing the arcade and console games at that period of time and give my reviews of Street Fighter related content in other media. Alright? So here I'm going to give my thoughts on how well the video game Street Fighter 2 was adapted into a animated movie back in 1994. All right? So, for those that don't know, basically, there was a live action movie that was made that was released in the United States in 1994. However, the animated movie, or the anime, which I like to call, was released in Japan in the summer of 1994, thus really making this the first Street Fighter adaptation in another medium, all right? Well, make that into another medium as a movie, all right? However, since it was released in Japan, it didn't get released in America until about a year later, So, what's the plot of this movie? Well, the anime. Well, the plot is basically Vega, the ruthless leader of the international criminal syndicate known as Shadaloo, has been recruiting and kidnapping martial artists all over the world to fortify his organization and assassinate potential threats, and those threats ranging from underworld rivals to global politicians, right? Within this recruitment, some of them are willing followers and they go along, but others that were kidnapped are brainwashed into performing assassinations. And Vega has his eyes set on one person, Dew, the person that defeated the Emperor of Muay Thai, Sagat, whom, by the way, is now one of the four horsemen of Shadaloo. And Shadaloo's activities got the attention of Agent Chun-Li of Interpol, who is leading an operation with a joint investigation with the United States Air Force, joining forces with Major Guile to take down Shadaloo. So, the interesting thing is basically Street Fighter 2 did not have a centralized plot, right? So, basically, the creators could have a lot of flexibility and make up something to give this movie a centralized theme. And actually, this one works very well. You see, basically, with the video game, it was a fighting game tournament, and basically everyone had their own motivations, but there wasn't a centralized plot. Giving Street Fighter a centralized plot was dire, and this centralized plot works well because basically it shifts the focus on martial artists themselves and how the martial artists are actually thrown into the mix, with Vega specifically targeting martial artists of a certain caliber. So this plot actually makes a lot more sense and it's cool to follow. Also, the theme of the movie, the theme of Street Fighter 2, it was, like I said, it was just martial artists fighting in a worldwide tournament. Here we have martial artists fighting all over the world and everything. However, it is not in a tournament. There are just various fights that either break out or they are just underground fights with people testing their abilities, which kind of goes along with the theme, but kind of doesn't. You see, the main gist of Street Fighter is that there's street fighting taking place, but in Street Fighter 2, there is a tournament, and we don't have a tournament in this movie. So while it's a decent attempt, the theme does kind of fall. However, the character representations and motivations are excellent. They got everybody down to a T. They have Du, the wandering fighter, aka the 1990s Japanese karate version of Kwai Chang Kang, just walking the earth, fighting and everything. That's all he does. He exercises, he walks around the world, he observes other martial artists, and he'll take part in a fight here and there when he wants to and when he doesn't. You have Ken, a combination of a preppy 90s grunger whom is a trust fund baby, whom is a great martial artist in America, right? And basically, but he doesn't fight anymore to test his strength. He just fights for fame and glory, And quite frankly, the dude has an awesome wife, awesome looking wife, and he has he has a flashy car, a flashy home, so he's got what he wants. But the main thing that he's really wants, he got almost everything he wants, but that real match he's been dying to have with his best friend, rival, and former training partner, Du. You have the revenge motivations of Chun-Li and Guile against Vega. Chun-Li for the death of her father, and Guile for the death of his best friend, right? Vega, maniacal, over the top, but a little more in depth because we definitely see that he has a god complex in here. And we also get additional depth of Balrog. Balrog, who is basically like the Spanish ninja, who is very vain about his looks. Heck, the fight with Chun-Li and Balrog, you see when she steps on scars his face, he loses it, So you get some in-depth to some of the characters. Another character that I should talk about is Fei Long. Fei Long, you display that he's a Hollywood actor and all, but he still hungers and he still longs for the fight. So he will sneak off on set to look at underground fights, and if he sees someone that's good enough, he'll partake in it, which is basically displays what a badass Fei Long is. So you have basically great character representations here. The animation is awesome and stands up to this day. It's cartoon-like, but it's not. It's also kind of practical. Sometimes when animes or cartoons are drawn, they're drawn in the way to make them very, very cartoony. These actually, everyone that's drawn or all the sets, it gives you a real world feel. It makes you actually think you go outside, you look at the world, and you're like, you know what? If the world was kind of animated, you can actually see the animation from the Street Fighter 2 anime, and you could parallel it here, and it's a very, I know it sounds weird, but it's a very good rendition of realistic or realism in animation, minus basically the fantasy elements with people throwing around fireballs or doing gravity defying movements. But with a decent representation and improvement of the plot, great character representations, basically giving you the greater feel of the game, this adaptation is on point. You agree? You disagree? Drop me a comment below, give me a like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter in the links that I provided below, and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by, and I'll catch you guys later.